efforts to clean up that oil spill in the Gulf. We're joined now by Republican Senator George LeMieux of Florida, and he joins us from up on Capitol Hill. Senator LeMieux, thank you for being here. I'd like to turn your attention, if I may, to the president's comments we heard on NBC's Today Show, this notion of whose asses he needs to kick, and this, I guess, notion that he feels he has to show a little more toughness. You're from one of these Gulf states, sir. Is that being well received back home, that the president seems to be showing a little more muscle?
Well, I don't think that talking is really going to do the job. You know, we don't want to just see him talk the talk. We want to see him walk the walk. The president has been down to the Gulf for 3 photo op opportunities in the last 45 days since this economic and environmental disaster started. What I want to see is the president down here in the Gulf, working through the problem, managing solutions, pushing people for answers, overcoming obstacles, not just getting briefed about it in Washington, D.C.
Is the state of Florida getting all the support that it needs, or are there specific things that the president should be doing, the federal government should be doing to help the recovery efforts?
Well, I think the problem is you don't know what you don't know. We don't know what the president would be finding out or pushing forward if he were on the job, getting the job done. Thad Allen's doing a great job, Admiral of the Coast Guard, but no one's like the President of the United States. And look, in Florida, we've had experience with disasters, and I've got to see leaders firsthand push people for results. Jeb Bush did it when we had our 9 or 10 hurricanes in 2004 and 2005. Charlie Crist is doing it right now. Governor Jindal's doing it in Louisiana, where they're on the ground working through solutions. I want to see the President of the United States doing that. I don't want to see him coming down, doing a photo op and going back to Chicago to play golf, or coming down and then going back to Washington, D.C. to go to the theater. I want to see him actively engaged. And saying he's going to kick butt, I'll use that because I've got a bunch of kids who are under 7 and I don't want to say the other word. That he kick butt. He hasn't even talked to Tony Hayward, the CEO of BP. Whose butt is he kicking?
Well, he did say that he hasn't talked to him because those kinds of conversations are usually rather scripted and they say all the right things to the president. But Senator LeMieux, let me ask you about your responsibility here. You guys have the purse strings up in Congress. Is there funding, emergency funding, that needs to get to Florida that has not gotten there yet? And how are you pursuing the money route here?
Well, one thing that I would like to see done is I'd like to get to see these claims get paid. We're finding out that the claims are not being paid as quickly as they could be. Senator Vitter and I have legislation to use the money that's paid right now on every barrel of oil and put into a fund to have that money administered right now to pay claims. Obviously, BP will have to pay us back later, but I'd rather have to see the federal government working through the claims process than trusting BP, it's not in their interest to make these claims paid. So let's get that done. But first and foremost, this is something that the commander-in-chief should be all over and on top of. You know, you get Tony Hayward and Lamar McKay and these folks from BP in the room. You get Secretary Napolitano, Secretary Salazar, James Luchenko from NOAA. Get them all in the room. Get the smartest people in the world. Push them for answers. Meet with them every day. Be on the ground, seeing it for yourself. That kind of leadership matters. I've seen it firsthand in Florida when we've had disasters, when the governor was showing that kind of leadership. We need to see that from the president. He can't outsource this problem to others.
Senator LeMieux, I want to ask you about today's big primaries. We've seen Tea Party activism erupt in a number of states, including in Florida, where Marco Rubio has pushed really Charlie Crist, your old boss, out of the Republican primary and becoming an independent. Are we reaching something where you look at a state like Nevada, where the Tea Party energy is counterproductive, where Republicans could end up with someone who isn't the strongest candidate to take on Harry Reid?
Well, it's hard to game this through and see what's going to happen and say, well, today this candidate's going to win and they're not the strongest candidate. Look, what we're seeing right here now is that we're going to have an election like 1994, an election 1980, a big sea change election where people are going to get thrown out of office, and for good reason. This government is tremendously mismanaged. In the short time that I've been here in Washington, it's astonishing to me how this government does business. We have $13 trillion in debt. The national debt's gone up $1 trillion in 9 months' time. It took almost 200 years for this country to amass its first $1 trillion in debt. The American people don't understand all the particulars, but they understand that things aren't working right here and that their children may not enjoy as good of an opportunity as they did.
Right.
And that's why they're mad, and that's why they want to throw the bums out. And frankly, a lot of bums need to be thrown out.
But not just in one party, right? I mean,
not just in one party.
Right. You think that there are some folks in your party that should be quaking in their boots too?
Well, there should be. Everybody should be. Everyone should be realized that the boss, the people, are mad. They're mad that their government isn't responsive. They're mad that this system keeps chugging along. along the way it's always chugged along, where money is getting spent, that no one knows where the money is going, that the debt keeps getting amassed, that the government is unresponsive, and we're putting our children and our grandchildren's future at stake. That's what they're mad about, and they have the right to be mad about it.
Senator LeMieux, I want to ask just a brief question about your own political future. You're obviously not running for a full term. You'll be leaving the Senate at the end of the year. Have you given any thought to what's next? Any thought to maybe running in 2012 for a full term against Senator Nelson?
Well, I'll be unemployed, so if you know anyone who's hiring.
Before we let you go, very quickly, a local Florida question for you. You know the former Republican Party chairman, Jim Greer there, an ally of yours when you were working with Charlie Crist, has been arrested, charged with some crimes there down in Florida. And then his lawyer came out and said that Charlie Crist kind of knew that he was setting up this special fundraising account with the Florida Republican Party. Were you aware of this while you were working with Charlie Crist? And do you agree with the lawyer's contention that Governor Crist actually conceded it and acknowledged that this was happening?
No, absolutely not. The governor and I aren't as much political allies anymore now because he's running as an independent and I'm a Republican and I'm supporting
But at this time
Marco,
you were, right?
But still, the governor didn't know about this, and this is unfortunately what happens in these criminal investigations, is that people seem to be willing to say anything to save their own skin. No one knew about this that I'm aware of, this third-party entity that he set up, where the allegations are that he was putting money in his pocket. It's unfortunate, and it breaks the trust of all the people who contributed to the Republican Party.
Senator George LeMieux, Republican of Florida, thank you very much for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sure.
And thank you, Senator. And one of the senators